Hi, fight fans, and welcome to Champions Corner. I'm your host, Stephanie Fleming. Champions Corner is brought to you by the Spanglish World and H.E.R networks on Zingo TV channel 250 and 251. This app is completely free to download, so download, jump on, rate, leave us a comment. We always like to hear from you guys. Tonight, I'm joined by Michael Triana. Michael's nickname is Iron Boy, and Mike is a professional Muay Thai fighter from New England, United States. He has a professional record of 7-1, and Michael will be back in action in the ring with Lion Fights August 27th of this year. Hi, Michael. How you doing tonight?
Great, Steph. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for being on. I really appreciate it. So obviously, I want to jump right into it and get the scoop on this upcoming bout. So why don't you tell us all a little bit about the bout, who you're going to be fighting, where it's going to take place, how your training camp is going.
So about like the whole bout on the 27th, gotta keep it down low, but it's gonna be a big fight. Training camp going hard as always. Have great teammates, so we're always pushing each other. We're always better in each other. So it's a great. We're always training. You know, I always say that the training camp in a way never stops. All we do is just ramp it up a little bit more, but we're constantly training. How I said, very excited for August 27th. We got a really big fight, a lion fight in Connecticut. So it'll be nice because I can bring a lot of my friends and a lot of the people from here in Worcester to go see it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's super exciting that it's so close to home. And like you said, you get to have some family and friends watch you and cheer you on in the corner. And that's always a little bit of extra motivation for sure. Mm-hmm. Are you secretly a little bit sad you're not going to Italy with some of the fighters going to Italy for the upcoming lion fight?
To be honest, not really. I'm just focused on what's in front of me. I do love traveling. You know, might have a chance to go later on just to support one of my friends. He's also a fighter. So, and it's actually going to be in Italy where he's going to be fighting. So I might go with him to corner him and stuff. But yeah, I mean, whatever opportunities come my way. Right now, I'm just focusing on what's in front of me, which is August 27th. And that's where my mind is right now.
That's awesome. It's really exciting that you get to go to and like corner and see your friend and be there for them, but also like you get to enjoy it more when you're not weight cutting. And
that's true. Yeah.
Coming up.
Yeah. I do love fighting, but the weight cutting part is, I think most fighters not favorite part. But I actually enjoyed the training camp. I was just telling my coach that like we're always training, but of course as we get closer to the fight, we ramp it up, and I enjoy it all. Like I love the training camp. I love the grind. I love everything going in except weight cutting. Pretty good with it, but still not my favorite.
So I seen in a previous interview that you did that you're like a big scheduler and someone who like writes in their fight journal. This is kind of like it struck me when I heard this in an interview because my coach is always like putting it into our heads. He's like, you have to journal, you have to keep track of how much you're training and what you're eating. And to us, it seems like such a chore, but it really does help. Like just before your fight, now I had this like thing that I do. And I go back and I read like the last couple of months of my training and I'm like, whoa, I did like a lot of work. So I did find it's really good and it's a great motivator and stuff to see like how much work really went into the behind the scenes before the fight kind of thing. Is that kind of like why you like journaling? Is it just because it helps keep you organized? Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I actually have like multiple journals, and it's weird. It's not something that I thought of doing. Like people always say, and then I will hear it, but never really did it. But then eventually, I don't know, it just came about naturally. I just started journaling, and to be honest, it just feels good. I just like writing, and it's like not just about like fighting. I write about everything, and it's where like I plan a lot, but at the same time I'm very like free. So the journaling just a lot of times helps me visualize, helps me like stay a little bit more organized, you know. But how I said, it just came about just for fun. I don't really see it as a chore. For me, I don't see it as a chore. I see it more like, I don't know, just fun.
Well, now that I've gotten into it, I like it a lot more. But yeah,
Yeah.
getting there it was a bit of a chore for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it helps a
Um,
lot, though. It helps a lot.
so for all those fight fans out there watching, can you take us through a typical day for you now? Just training before a fight, how's weight cutting going, and that kind of thing.
So I usually try to stay at a good walk around weight, and then I weight cut maybe like the last month I'll start weight cutting. Nothing crazy. To be honest, all I do is just maybe eat a little bit less, start cutting the amount of calories I eat. But I always try to keep like my vitamins, my nutrients, minerals, everything up to date. So then my body's still strong. But usually until, again, a month or even 3 weeks out, I really don't worry about it. Prior to that, all I worry about is just getting stronger and like sharpening the weapons. Every day usually right now my training schedule is just like all my training is mostly in the morning. So like I'll train from 7 a.m. to 12, and then after that I go eat, and then I do have my own company, so I get back to work. I start working, and then at night around like this time-ish or later on, I go for a run, and I do recovery stuff, and that's pretty much my day. It's just from 7 a.m. to like 11 p.m. Like I'm busy the whole day. Yeah.
It's good though because when you grind like that, there's no trouble getting to sleep in the night. You just hit the bed and you're instantly out.
Yeah, and I mean on Sundays usually, because sometimes like still a lot of the time a lot of work or whatever happens. Usually on Sundays I try to go to bed really early, so like 7 p.m. or yeah, something like that, and I'll try to get like I don't know like 10 or 12 hours of sleep. I usually do, like my body's out for that, then resets me for the week. But how I said, mostly since the morning till nighttime, like just booked the whole time. Yeah.
So I know you do like an online schooling thing. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, of course. So I do have, again, how I said, like my own company. It's mostly based online, and it's just a online courses and program that teaches you from beginners, especially for those people that doesn't have any martial arts experience, that always wanted to try, but they're too shy to go into the gym. So I provide like their first steps, like I teach them like all the basic moves, and they go through a program in different levels, and they get like little certificates. In Muay Thai there's no like levels, you're either amateur or pro, but it does help them get that motivation to keep going. And then after that, like they do like live streams with me, so every week they get to we get to work out together, because I'll also provide workouts. So it's not like just techniques. Like each technique is followed along with a workout, like a shadow boxing workout. And then every Thursday night they get to do it with me if they want to join me to do the workout for the week. And then we call it like Thursday testing. We put all the workouts on the week, and then we just do it together. And then if they have any questions, I'm able to answer them. There's a few people that do go to the gym already, like they're already in Muay Thai gyms or MMA gyms. So those are good times as well for them to ask me, like if they had trouble in sparring or hitting the bag or a technique or something. I just give them my feedback. Sometimes they send me videos. We have like a group page, so then they put videos up, and I'm able to like just help them with their technique, or just keep them motivated. I just want to make a community that's not just about martial arts, but also about like in a way instilling those values that martial arts teaches, that Muay Thai teaches us, that like discipline, staying consistent, respecting each other. All these things that are very important.
Definitely. And like as someone who coaches, and I'm also a three-time national Canadian champion, I'm big into kickboxing, not Muay Thai so much. I do love Muay Thai as well, though. I think that's great because one thing that we see regularly is a lot of young girls who are really intimidated to try. So I think doing something like an online program is a great way to break into it. At least you have a foundation before you go in and try a class that might be intermediate or even higher level sometimes. That can be really intimidating for young women. So I think it's great that you've come up with that. And
Thank you.
even for more experienced, like you said, if you want help breaking down techniques or sparring, that kind of way, it's definitely something you can avail of. So for anyone out there who's listening, who would love to jump in on some of your classes or try out your workout programs, how can they do that?
So I have my own website. They can just go to ironboyexperience.com and they can sign up there. And then I also do have a YouTube channel. So if they, struggling financially, but they still want to get some classes and workouts, then they can just look up Iron Boy Experience on YouTube. And I have like hundreds of videos that are just free. And again, if they want to work with me and sign up to the academy, then they can jump on there through the website. Same thing. In IG, Mike Iron Boy, they can find me on there and just ask me questions if they wish.
Awesome. And since developing these programs and implementing them, what has been like your biggest reward in working with people?
Biggest reward has been the transformations, not just physically, but I would say definitely when it comes to confidence. And like when I actually started during the lockdown last year. So this was something I was working towards, but during the lockdown, it was like everybody was looking for it. So then I did about a month of just like free workouts for everybody, and I'll just go online and do like pre-recorded ones. Like in the morning, I like film all morning, and at night I did like live streams. Then people started liking it, so I was like, okay, well, like let me start up a school, and then eventually when things started to open up, or even during, people were telling me like, oh, like I actually never done this, but I actually feel like I'm learning and I'm just having fun. And then there were so many people that had like physical transformational changes, but also there's many people that had never gone to a gym, like a martial arts gym, whatever it is, could be kickboxing, boxing, Muay Thai. And then they actually went into the gym when they started opening up, and they would just tell me all these stories of like, how they never dreamed that they could ever do that. And now how like powerful they feel. How you were saying, like, there's a lot of people that might feel a little bit shy, and like martial arts or just, kickboxing, it's a fight sport, and when you learn it, you do feel powerful. You can defend yourself, so it's that brings me a lot of joy. It brings me a lot of joy, again, not just a physical transformation, but like the mental transformation, that they're able to defend themselves, that they're able to enjoy all these values that come with training, how self-respect, dedication, and seeing that growth is very nice.
Yeah, that's definitely a very rewarding aspect of it. Michael, you started off a little bit late in the sport. You were like 20-ish, right, when you first started?
Yes.
And you train at Team Lincoln, right?
Team Link, Worcester Muay Thai.
Tell me a little bit about your gym and how you got so many fights so quickly, because you have a huge amateur career before you even turned pro.
So so I train at Team Link Muay Thai in Worcester, Massachusetts, and it's owned by my coach, H.E.R. So he's from Brazil, and he's trained with very famous fighters like Cosmo Alexander. He started a gym here in Worcester, and I mean, it's been maybe like 8 years or 9 years that I've been with them. And at the beginning, I don't know, to be honest, I just did it for fun. Like I didn't have any like I didn't want to fight, or I didn't really care about fighting, to be honest. Like I just go like just to get a workout, and had other plans. But then eventually I started. My coach is like, oh, like like take a smoker, or take do some sparring or whatever. And then I started liking it after my first smoker. Like it was actually the training camp and the fight, how hard we got to train, that allowed me to really fall in love with the sport. And then after that, I started to go into tournaments, and just like you might know, like tournaments, you rack up a lot of experience, and there's just like a lot of fights going on. And then started going from tournament to tournament, and after that I went to the USA team, and I started just doing worlds all over, like in Thailand and Belarus and Sweden. And then I think we lost Steph. I'm sure we have to have her come back. But I'll finish the story. Yeah, so then I started fighting just different parts of the world, and Brazil was another one, and just racking up lots of different fights. Mhm. Welcome back.
So sorry for that. So you've been at Team Link for about 8, 9 years now, and you were talking a little bit about your coach when I lost you.
Yeah, so I don't know. I kind of kept going. I don't know if because it's all
That's
live, so
great.
I don't
That's
see
great.
what other people. But yeah, pretty much just doing lots of different tournaments, and then made Team USA, and then I started flying, fighting internationally, like Belarus, Thailand. I lived there a little bit, and I went to Brazil, and Spain, just like all over the world, and just like tournaments, you just rack up a lot of experience, a lot of fights.
That's what I absolutely love about kickboxing. I've gotten to travel all over the world, something like yourself, and it's amazing.
Mhm.
I think it's kind of cool how like when you go outside of North America, Muay Thai, kickboxing, they're huge in other
Yep,
places.
yep. It's
Um,
that's really cool.
so it's yeah, it's really exciting to see. Of all the places that you've been, what was your favorite to visit?
That's a tough one. I do love traveling. I've been to like 26 countries, and in each one I had like just, I mean, including like fighting, of course, like fighting and non-fighting. But in each one, there's just a different story. You know, like I can tell you, especially when it came to fighting, like Brazil had amazing stories, Spain, Sweden. I do love Europe, but I also do love Asia as well. I can't really pick one yet to say that's my favorite. Eventually, I'll find it.
And it's really cool that you got to visit Thailand. I feel like every Muay Thai fighter that I talk to is like has either been to Thailand to fight for a little bit or train for a little bit or really wants to go. So I
Yeah.
guess it's cool to get back to the roots of it. And
Yeah, I mean, when you go there, it's like Muay Thai is on like every TV, and it's it's just like everywhere, and it's very nice. It's definitely very nice, and there's a lot of training that you can get, and people, and then people are really kind. So
Mhm.
definitely a place I like.
That's for sure. Um, So, line fight has a lot of female fighters, and obviously, you've been in the sport for quite some time now, and you've seen the evolution of female MMA, female Muay Thai, female kickboxing is really on the rise. Females are getting a lot more limelight and a lot of spotlight. Who is your favorite female line fight fighter, and who's your favorite female fighter?
So I mean, from let's see. Well, I mean, I really this is MMA, but at the beginning, Cyborg, you know, and I know like
Yeah.
in Lion Fight, Kylie Reese was probably my favorite, still is, but I mean, she doesn't fight anymore. But she had just such a solid Muay Thai
Mhm.
stance, and very aggressive and very technical. So like she was definitely my number one favorite. There is like a few younger girls that are coming up. Becca, I don't know her full name. Becca, I believe is her last name. And she's from Texas. She's young. She's like 16 or 17, and she's killing it. Like she's just again kind of like Kylie Reese, just super aggressive, great eyes. Like she's just built for that. Like she knows what she's doing. Her fight IQ is incredible. So and she'll be fighting in, I think, Triumphant, I believe, June 12th. So I saw that on the card. So I'm really excited for like to see her fight. Again, she's kind of like one of like the new generation, and of course representing girls. So like it's really cool. It's really cool. But I think those will be like my favorite fighters. I do like Tiffany, but I'm not really too a fan of like the jumpy style. But she is really
Mhm.
good. She's like one of the best, and she's shown it. I'm not a fan of the how I said like the style of her style,
Mhm.
but I still like her. I still like her a lot. I think from what I've seen on her IG and social media and stuff, she seems like a really cool person as well. So
Yeah, I love that you know so much about female fighters, and it's great to see anyone who supports female fighters. And like I said, I really like what you got on the go with your online program. I think that's great for lots of females who are intimidated to go in and try their first
Mm-hmm.
class kind of thing. Speaking of people who are very technical, you're very technical yourself, but you also
Thank you.
have some knockout power. You've knocked people out with strikes, body kicks, head kicks. They always say with Muay Thai that it's 8 limbs, but obviously you have quite the arsenal of tools. What is your favorite tool and why?
Um, when I get this question, I always say whatever knocks out my opponent, that's gonna become the favorite tool.
I
Yeah,
like the way you think.
yeah. I learned that a while ago in one of the tournaments. I remember I would do like 500 kicks in the morning, 500 kicks at night. Like I really just wanted to hone in my kicks, and then like in the tournament, like almost the only thing I didn't do was kick because like my punches and my knees were landing like everywhere. Like I was just doing really good with that. So then I just learned, you know what, just whatever works, that's gonna be my favorite thing at the moment. Yeah.
So the last fight I seen you fight was the one against Cody Moberly, and that was a spectacular fight.
Thank
Walk
you.
us through that one a little bit.
So getting in the ring, I said like just focus, and I knew he was a like clincher, a very strong clincher, and we actually became good friends afterwards. So I want to train more with him and see his clinch now that we're not in the ring. But I know he was a very strong clincher, a very powerful puncher. So we just kept the distance, kept the distance. I was actually going for his arm, so I was quote unquote trying to break one of his arms. So I was just kicking it as hard as I could. And it worked. He was telling me afterwards that he's like, man, like I thought you were gonna break my arm. Like, well, that's what I was going for. But I'm glad that I didn't. After the fight, you hope that everybody's okay. But yeah, so then we were training a lot of like angles, and there's different styles, and what I like to do is I just like to adapt. I go forward a lot, but if I have to go backwards, no problem. Like I can go backwards as well. So in this one, we actually were going backwards and keeping the distance, just timing him. And then eventually, we did actually practice that exact move. And one of our like Dahlia, one of our friends that did an interview on me, she actually has a video on it. So we were practicing it at the gym, just angle out, head kick. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. So he came in strong. I was hoping he was going to come in during the third round, but he actually came in like fast during the second round. But we knew that it could have even been the first round. So the idea was just to angle him and strike, angle him and strike. And then that opening right there, because kept usually when people punch, they drop their hands. It's kind of natural. So if you time it, you can land a good head kick, and that's what happened. He was coming in with hands and elbows, and then I just ankle and head kick. To be honest, it was just so fast because we drilled it so many times that it was quick. It was really quick. Like I saw it and my body just did it, and I was like, oh, cool.
Yep, muscle memory. You're so glad it pays off in the moment, especially
Yeah, yeah, that one was nice just because again we have video of us like actually practicing that exact move, and then like that's exactly how we finished the fight, and I love that.
So we talked a little bit about your favorite female fighter. Obviously, Lion Fights has a lot of really cool, talented male fighters, yourself included.
Thank you.
And there's been a lot of really cool clips come out of Lion Fight, like Stephen Walker's tornado kick, Joe Stripling with the heavy elbows and the cartwheel kick, Warren Thompson fighting with a broken chin.
Yeah.
Who stands out to you, or what fight has stood out to you in the last little bit?
Stephen Walker, I mean, he's here from Boston, and he's just a beast. Like he has so much power, and he goes for it. He sends it. He's confident. He's very confident in his strikes, and yeah, he's showing it. I definitely became Bazooka Joe's like super fan. Like I once I saw that fight. Oh man, I'm like, man, I love the I like we messaged back and forth. I was like, man, I love the way you fight. Like yeah, I can't wait to see him fight again. I'm a big fan of his style and how smart he is. He has a very high IQ. So that it's funny that the two people you mentioned are actually the two people that at the moment online fight. Those are the ones that I really really like. Yeah.
Yeah, they're cool guys too, I must say. I've interviewed both of them. Both are great guys.
Awesome.
Um, I was really sad actually. Steven's last fight, his opponent never made weight.
Yeah.
Um, Tell me both sides of it. Like, so give me your perspective on what it's like not to make weight and what it's like when your opponent doesn't make weight.
I mean, I've personally I've always
Not
made
made weight, I
weight.
know.
Yeah. So I mean that if I didn't make weight, I would just feel like so unprofessional and so like I don't even know. Like I didn't even think about it. I'm like I make weight or I make weight. It's
Does
just
your
for me.
coach have any like so at my gym my coach has like things he does if we don't make weight for fights. Like he'll make
Yeah.
us do like 1,000 burpees in class. And but do your coach have any of those kind of like traditions for anyone who doesn't make weight or like they gas out in their fights or anything?
No, not really. To be honest, like we've all like every single. None of our teammates have ever missed weight, and for us, it's more like again that feeling of being really unprofessional.
Mhm.
We just really want to like keep do our work. You know, like we do so much work in the gym and we train very hard. Like our gym, that's something I'm very proud of. Like we really push ourselves to our limits and to do, to like really look so unprofessional during,
Mhm.
when it's time to fight after we put in so much work. I
Yeah.
think like that's, yeah, we like, I don't know. We don't have a punishment, but I think we punish ourselves enough.
Nice.
And the other way around, I mean, honestly, like I really don't care as
Mhm.
long as the person's there to fight. Like yeah, when my opponent missed weight as well, it was 6 pounds. It was a lot, and then like I didn't feel anything. I was just like you just don't want to fight, or like I trained very hard for this, so yeah, I don't really care too much about the missing weight part. Just looks unprofessional. That's all. I think we lost her again. I'll just explain about my training routine now that I get a message. So training routine, how I said before, depending. Oh, train. Ah, hi, you're back.
So sorry about that.
No
I think
worries.
we're working on the internet lines or something outside my house because I've never had this many technical difficulties. Speaking of professionalism, I'm so sorry about that.
No worries. It happens.
Um, so in case this drops again, we're not going to ask you to get back on. Of course, I'll have you back in on future shows when the connection is a lot better after your big win.
Thank you.
But I just want to give you a chance in case we lose connection again to thank your support system, to thank any sponsors that you might have outside of Lion Fight.
So definitely, I want to thank the first person is Unviable Training. So unbridled training is where I do all my strength conditioning, and it's definitely been something. And after the lockdown, has gotten me to new levels. I've gotten a lot stronger. Just everything has gone like a lot better since I started there. So I definitely want to give them a huge shout out. They're here in Worcester, Massachusetts. Unbridled Training, definitely check them out. I have a few sponsors. Dapper Dangerous is one of my friends. He sponsors me as well. He's located in Boston. He does just men's clothing styling. So, you know, for anybody that wants to get styled up, then definitely hit him up. He supports me as well. For sure, my team.
Fly after your fight.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yes, of course. That's the idea every time. You know, thank you to like all my supporters. That'll be, you know, like the most important, because without you guys, like we wouldn't be fighting. So thank you for everybody that supports me through my whole journey so far, watching me on the UFC Fight Pass, and if you guys get to go to Foxwoods Casino, you know, thank you for everybody just has been supporting me. Of course, my teammates, huge thank you to my teammates, because without them as well, like the training wouldn't be the same, and we just keep pushing each other day in and day out. So teammates and team, thank you, and thank you to you for, you know, hosting the show and having me on. Appreciate it, stuff.
Oh my God, it's an honor. I've watched all of your lion fights, and like I said, you're an extremely athletic, talented guy with lots in your arsenal. So I know that this next upcoming bout is going to be an exciting one to watch. I'm going to be on the edge of my seat, maybe with a few drinks.
Thank you. Well, I'll make it fun.
I think it's always fun. That's one thing I will say about you is you're a very entertaining fighter.
Thank you. I try. I definitely want to be.
Yeah, and like your passion comes through too, which is, I mean, it's gonna elevate any fighter when they're super passionate about it. They can draw a crowd. They can, you know, get a following and get the sponsors and things like that. It's not always easy for Muay Thai fighters. A lot of Muay Thai fighters, because the pay is a little under in comparison to like UFC, Bellator, a lot of the bigger promotions had to hold down another job. And so my respect for Muay Thai fighters is I really can't measure, because not only are they having a full-time job as a professional fighter, because it's something you have to work at every single day. Like you said, your training camp basically never ends. Then you're also holding down the school, or you know, some Muay Thai fighters another full-time job. So, you know, it's definitely something you have to truly love. What was my next question? Oh yes, I wanted to ask you. So you see a lot of YouTube stars now, like in the media, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, and I feel like they're kind of taking the limelight away from guys who, you know, train their whole life to be boxers or MMA fighters, and they've put years and years into it, and these guys are just kind of using their celebrity to jump on cards. He's got a fight coming up against Tyrone Woodley. What's your opinion, or do you have an opinion on these guys?
Man, to be honest, I always try to stay away from like any like mainstream stuff. Like one thing I always say is that you want to put your time, money, whatever it is, to the people you support, you know. So like the more that you know, like that you pay attention to these type of like people, then the more they're gonna, you know, keep doing it, you know. Like that's the thing. Like that's what keeps them there, is that you actually pay attention to it and you keep supporting by even just tuning in. It's just like whatever, man. Like I don't agree with how it goes, but since I don't, I'm just not gonna pay attention to it. I'm gonna keep my focus on supporting bigger fighters or upcoming fighters, you know, and seeing those type of shows. Like not gonna buy into any of these other shows. Like I really don't care about it.
That is such an enlightened response. See, the stereotype about fighters, Muay Thai fighters and boxers and all this really isn't true. A lot of people think that fighters are these big burly criminals who are uneducated, and like I have thousands of interviews to prove otherwise, because a lot of guys are super intelligent or super humble or have all these amazing characteristics outside of being a fighter. And those are definitely the guys that I'd want to sign my kids up for to be coached by, for sure. Aspirations. If so, you win this next fight. What's next on the scoreboard? Like, do you have a big goal in mind?
Definitely a world title. Like I'm shooting for a world title, and then after that, probably just focus. Like to be honest, probably just focus on my school. I really, really, really love teaching. I taught before this as well, like before the academy online, but just seeing everybody's transformations and um, how I can read a lot of people. I don't know, it's just like really where I want to be at. And then I'm always going to be training. I just love like martial arts. It's more than just fighting, like it's about you being in the like constantly training, constantly growing physically and mentally, like growing your spirit as well. So I'm always going to be in that journey, and teaching that to other people is going to be, my greatest what I could, for me, my greatest success, just being able to share that with others.
Definitely. And I think now more than ever, it's really great to see more and more people getting into martial arts, any kind of combative sport, really, because it's great for mental health. It's great for, like you said, teaching discipline. And during times like COVID, with this pandemic and how much it's really caused mental health issues, I think why not get your kids into sports, get into sports yourself, stay active. It's definitely helpful for mental health. So speaking of COVID, obviously it's affected all fighters, some to higher levels than others. How has it affected you, and how has your team gotten you through?
So I'm sure, again, how you said, like everybody has been affected. I always have this mentality that everything is equal. What I mean is that when there's an obstacle, there's an equal opportunity hidden in there. I just always have to look for it, and that's what happened. Like I looked for it, and I was able to make my online academy and help a lot of people. So to be honest, it has impacted me in a positive way, because I was able to find more of my dream of what I want to do. How I said it, I always love teaching, but seeing all the transformations throughout this year has brought even more love to keep pursuing that and keep growing it. So for me, it's impacted me positively, and as my team, like we always stay very close together. How I said, my friend Matt, he runs on rival training, and during that time we did a lot of strength conditioning. I mean, we still do, but that's when it started. And when it came back into the ring, I was just much stronger, and my skills went up instead of down. I try to like keep do more smart work than anything, like study fights and work smart in the gym. And so it's impacted me positively.
Are you always someone who studies your opponent before you fight them? Is that kind of something you let your coaching team handle?
Yeah, half and half. So I study him at the beginning and then a little bit at the end, but not too much. I let my coach handle that, and I trust my coach, and he has great eyes. And yeah, I don't really like studying him too much, because you never know. Like they might come out completely different. Same thing with me. Like I really don't care if people study me, because I'm always getting better and better. And whatever weaknesses I had, that fight you watch, I trust me, I don't have them anymore. So like worked on them. So same thing, like I think like that, like my opponent might not have that weakness anymore. So I just gotta be ready and adapt to whatever and listen to my coach.
And last question before we let you go. If you had to give some characteristics or attributes to a champion or world champion, which is what you're aspiring to be, no doubt you're on the road with our collection of belts already. What would some of those attributes or characteristics be?
I would say definitely believe in confidence. Uh, will be your first ones. Believe confidence. Like without that, you can't do anything. Like there's a story about the lion. Like the lion's not the smartest, the biggest, or the fastest, but the mentality that he believes that he is strongest. Is what allows him to take down bigger animals than him. And then team, like your team, like a lot of people think that you as a fighter, like you're in the ring by yourselves. I'm never there exactly by myself. Like my coach is there, my whole teams, even if I'm fighting outside, like far away, like my team is there. My team is there. And yeah, so like I would say confidence, believe in yourself and your dreams, and then your team, find a good group of people that are going to support you, and of course you support them.
Every single time I ask someone a question like this, I'm like, I just want to go and hit the bag right now. Like that's so inspiring, and it's true. Everything that you're saying, I agree completely. I think it's really inspiring for the young fans who are watching, or anyone who wants to go and try. I know I said last question, but I have one last question. What is your post-fight win meal gonna be?
I mean, we're at Fox's Casino, so to be honest, probably some ice cream or something. There's this little ice cream place that I always see, and a lot of times I'm not even that hungry. I usually will probably eat like a little bit of ice cream, and then that's it. Like yeah, and sometimes I crave something else, so I'll tell you then.
Awesome. I think Jake and Regan Gowing, also from Lion Fights, I think they were both like tacos.
Yeah, tacos. That sounds pretty good too.
Tacos or hamburgers or something.
Yeah, I like sweet stuff, so usually I get something small, sweet.
Yeah, it's always like one of the best feelings I find. It's like treating yourself
Mm-hmm.
after the fight, whether it's a drink or a sweet treat
Mm-hmm.
or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much again for being on. I really, really appreciate your time. Sorry, everybody, for the technical difficulties, but we'll definitely be talking to Michael again. He has a long career ahead of him. And like you heard him, world champ in the making. Thank you so much for everybody tuning in. You can follow us on Spanglish World networks on Facebook, YouTube, Zingo TV, channel 250 and 251. Thank you so much, everyone, for being on. Thanks again, Michael.
Yeah, thank you.